Hey, welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to have the Shay Brown on our show today. On today's episode, it is going to be incredible. For those of you that don't know me or you are checking in for the first time into today's episode, we help entrepreneurs grow their businesses online using social media and other skills and tools and all those kind of things. But I'm so excited to have Shay on because he is an incredible entrepreneur. He is actually a renowned giant in the sales world. He has cracked the one elusive code of entrepreneurial success with a game-changing model that unlocks unlimited financial potential, power, and wealth. So if that isn't just cool, right? In 6 short years, he's dominated the sales space, coaching thousands of rising business leaders to achieve exponential growth and success in their industries to the tune of over 400 million and counting. So that's pretty incredible, Shay. His acclaimed 7-figure sales team concept has forever erased the outdated notion of generating revenue in a business is a sole source game, instead illustrating it is indeed a team sport, which I totally agree with. Shay lives, breathes, and sleeps his craft. He has his fingers on the pulse of profit generation and an instinctual insight into why the heart of flailing business has stopped. Most importantly, he can resuscitate the flow of revenue in any company with just a whiteboard and a conversation. Shay Brown is the creator of the Sales Team Guru. So thank you so much for being here, Shay. I'm so excited to have you and excited to share you with my incredible audience. So Shay, tell us a little bit about where you came from, how this all came about, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of like the value of what people can learn from you.
Well, it's a great day. As she said, my name is Shay Brown, and Brandy, it is an honor and a privilege, a treat and a treasure to be here. I couldn't think of a better place to be than right here in this moment, speaking to you, the folks that are out there, your audience, the entrepreneurs, the speakers, the authors, the coaches, the trainers, the small business owners who get up every single day with one mission and one mission only, and that is to solve a problem. And so I'm thankful to be here with your community. I'm thankful to share this with my community. And what I admire most about you, Brandy, is that you operate in the spirit of collaboration. One of our rules for life, we have 11 rules of life, but one of our rules for life is that collaboration crushes competition. And so just the fact you're willing to be here right now at a time when people are being scarce and holding on to what they have, not Brandy, she operates from a place of abundance. So I'm excited to share this conversation that for the entrepreneur that needs to generate revenue in their business. Now you can still benefit. If you're not an entrepreneur, you can still benefit, okay? You can, we're gonna share some cool stuff. But if you're an entrepreneur, and you're like, Shay, the number one reason I'm challenged with scaling my business right now is I just don't have the revenue that I need to execute the 3 visions that I believe you have. And I'm coming over to Brandy, but I want to give you these 3 visions because it's one of a core. It's the core of Sales Team Guru. I believe you have 3 visions, and that sales, revenue, solve problem, help. The first vision, I believe, is you have a vision for yourself, the way you want to live, the house you want to be in, the clothes, the food, the organic foods you want to eat. And it takes resources. I know it takes revenue. That's why Brandy does what she does every single day. You've got to get her attraction, client stuff. She's cool. The second vision, I believe you have a vision for your loved ones, the ones you care the most about, by the way. Like, okay, the kids you want to send to a school of your choice, it takes resources. The check you want to write for someone's healthcare insurance, it takes resources. So if you're like me, mother did, I'm coming down the home stretch. She's 73 years old. I have the pleasure 15 minutes of going to hang out with mother, take her to the doctors. How many of y'all know she know how to use Amazon over the last 9 months? It has my card on it. Like, oh, I got to change this. How do I do this? Mother, just keep ordering it. It takes revenue.
Just keep ordering.
You got to keep ordering, and it takes revenue. And the last vision you had, and I'm glad you're here for this conversation, and we're going to give value, but I want you to understand, we're not just talking about money, but when you have more money, you have more meaning. When you can make $1, you can make a difference. And when you can have income, you can have impact. So the last vision I believe you have is you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. And you don't have to be a believer. I happen to be a believer, Brandy, but they don't have to be. But I'll give them one analogy, and I'm coming to you. I think of Noah in the Bible, and I like to always start with this. Even if you're not into it, doesn't really matter. Noah was given all the experience, right? He was given all the expertise. And imagine Noah, right before you get started, you're excited, just like in your business, you're so excited. And then there's a knock at the door. You're like, what's going on? Yo, Noah, over here. There are no hammers in the house, man. No hammers? No big deal. I'm cool. A second knock. What's going on? No, over here, dude. Yo, me. There's no nails. No hammer, no nails. Oh gosh, I'm okay. Rule number 1, don't panic. Last knock at the door. Nora, what's going on? Back here. There's no wood and there's no people. Good luck on this mission. And maybe that's you. So thanks for tuning into Brandy, because she gives you the revenue. She gives you the resources. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to share how to get the revenue, get the resources, to execute that big vision that's much bigger than you. So that's what brought us here today, Brandy, to be here with you to help entrepreneurs get the resources they need.
Yeah, absolutely. So Shay, tell us a little bit about how you got started. I'm always super curious about how people got into this space. So, how did this happen for you? What were you doing? Where did you come from? Obviously you didn't just were born one day and you were this incredible entrepreneur, right? That's not how this happens.
Yeah. I'm just like many of you out there. I hated sales, but I needed it. Let me say this again. I hated sales, but I needed it. Let me say, if you hate sales, you can put your hands up in the air. You're probably putting 2 thumbs up right now, but you need it to pay the mortgage. You need it to pay the car note. You need it to save for retirement. So like many of you, I didn't want to ever be an entrepreneur, not me anyway. I only worked for 2 companies my whole career. I worked for Citibank after undergraduate, went to Morgan State University, didn't do sales. And then after graduate school, I worked for Verizon for the next 9 years. I went to Johns Hopkins University for grad school, and I didn't do sales. And then on May 31st, 2004, they laid me off, or they gave me the pink slip. Now, some of you can relate to something that happened in your life. It was something that caused you to really get serious about being an entrepreneur. I didn't want to do this, but my homies had a couple businesses. I'm like, yo, if they got some businesses, certainly Shay Brown can have a business. Plus I had a little severance check, right, for 12 months. So I knew I was good. I could do this thing. But how many thought you were good? And then for me, after 90 days in business, I was tired. I was struggling. In short, I was out of money. And hence I learned the golden rule in business. The golden rule in business is, jot this down in your notes. Jot this in your notes. The golden rule in business, never run out of money. That's the only golden rule. So I ran out of money. And then my wife, my second wife, decided to leave me. Now, it's one thing to go through one divorce. She leaves me because how many know putting money will put pressure. And then after that, my 2 sons decide they're going to come live with me. What? That's not supposed to happen. They normally go with moms. So now I'm here. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm struggling. I have no money. I'm running out of my 401k. Shh. Into that, okay? And then I'm upstairs. I'm coming down the home stretch in a minute. I'm coming back to you, Brandy. But I'm upstairs in the room. I got to tell you, and I'm working hard. How many of you work hard? Ain't nothing happening for you. I know. I've been there. And I was like, my son say, Dad, someone's still in the car. I run downstairs. I said, still in the car. What's going on? I look out the door, and there's my SUV truck, Lexus, white. Y'all know about that truck. And I look at the guy, give him the nod. He gives me the guy nod back. I look at my sons. I said, don't worry, the truck is just going to the garage. I lied.
It just needs some work.
Yeah, I lied. And it was in that moment I had the never again moment. Now, how many of you have had that never again moment in your business or your life? You said, never again will I have to borrow money from a family member that I can't pay back. Never again will I hit the light switch and guess what? The lights don't come on. Never again will just one client make the difference whether or not I pay my bills or not. Never again will I have to look over my sons and lie. And I felt like a failure as a husband because I'm now divorced, going through it for the second time, a 2-time loser in that area. But I am married now for the 3rd time, so y'all can cheer for me later, all right? And then my sons are sitting there, and I don't have money to feed them. Then I'm burning through my 401k. I find myself in bankruptcy. My car is there, and what turned it all around, and here's the point I want to make to you, the audience. It's not about Shay Brown, because you don't have to go through all that. I learned 3 words, speaking with a mentor, $5,000, traveling out to Rockland, California with Eric Lofthome, and he says, Shay, you should focus on selling. Selling? No way. But I learned this. Selling equals power. Put this in your notes. Put this in your notes. If you don't get any other nuggets, selling equals power. Selling equals power. Selling equals power. Shay, why does selling equal power? What brought you to this? That was Brandy's question. What brought me here is this one phrase that I share with my clients that maybe like you, maybe like me, they don't see themselves in sales, which is the oxymoron, right? Because preachers sell faith every week. They don't see themselves in sales. Teachers sell education every day. They don't see themselves in sales. Parents sell values every day and they don't see themselves in sales. But yet you're solving problems every day, right? You're actually in sales. Selling equals service. Put this in your notes. Created the breakthrough for me and all of my clients. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. I want you to tell yourself this at least 7 times a day. Put it in your notes. If you didn't write it down now. Selling equals service. So you're going to serve because people will pay you today if you solve a problem today. When I adopted that philosophy, that's what brought me to where I'm at. I said, there might be other people like me. They weren't born this way. They're not wired this way. But I'll close with this. Selling is a learned skill.
It really is. It really is. And that's so important. So Shay, that's incredible that, you know, your story, right? Like that one moment, because I think a lot of us have that one moment where we're like, look, this is it. I got to make this work, or, you know, there's no other choice. I got to make this work. So tell us, what is the number one challenge facing entrepreneurs today that you feel is super important to address?
The number one challenge facing entrepreneurs today, right now, is talking to unqualified leads, spending time with people who are not interested in purchasing their product or services. That's the number one challenge. And why is that a challenge? Because without leads, there's no hope. Jot this down in your notes. Any of you know what a lead is. A lead means someone might be interested in your products or service, right? And so if you're out there right now, like I was, and I'll tell you about one of my clients, her name is Karen, and Karen had this goal of earning 6 figures in her business. How many have that goal? And I said, okay, great. How are we going to get there? And she had one problem. And you may have that problem as well. There were no leads. Jot this in your notes. Leads represent hope. Leads represent hope. Let me say this again. Leads represent hope. No leads, no hope. And so number one challenge is, how do I get in front of the right people? Which is what Brandy does. I love what Brandy does, because Brandy helps you get in front of the right folks. She helps you attract people to you. But then that opens up another problem. So you might be, this is the problem we saw, right? This is the other problem. So there's two problems. Some of our folks we work with today, their biggest problem is they've got too many qualified leads coming in. Yep. And as a one-person shop or two-person shop, they can't follow up with everybody. They can't qualify everyone. In many cases, no matter what their automation systems are, at some point, someone wants to chat with someone. If they're selling at least what we would call a high ticket product, anything over $3,000, they want to talk to someone and they can't keep up with the volume. So they outsource their sales team to us to do that. And that's cool, because they got a problem. They're running Facebook ads. They're doing the webinars the way they should be doing. They're running their challenges. I know some of you got a book. You know how hard it is to make money off a book these days, but you should do a book. It generates leads. Mm-hmm. But absolutely, you didn't sign up to be the number one salesperson in your company. And that's the number one challenge we have. You can't be great at everything. I'm a Kevin Hart fanatic, okay? He says, and I believe him, he ain't even got his due yet, but he says, you can't be great at everything. You can be good at everything, but you can't be great at sales, great at marketing, great at generating leads, great at doing accounting, great at project management, great at being an administrative assistant, great at building a website. You can't be great at everything. So we come in and we fill out the one area that you need in your business, which is sales. There's sales, marketing, operations, and finance. Those are 4 key areas. Without sales, no one else gets paid. Let's be very clear.
This is true.
And so that's the number one challenge they have. Not having enough money to buy everything else they need to get done in their business.
Awesome. I love that. So Shay, if somebody is, let's say they're attracting leads now, let's say that they've got, people that are interested in what they're doing and they're just not closing, where do people start with this whole, even into a team or into a coaching program or into whatever it is they may be doing? Where do they start? Like, how does this work for someone that's just, getting started, or maybe more intermediate, because then they know the attraction skills and they're getting people to them. But what do they do with them?
Sure. There's three problems that normally arise. Let me give you the formula if I can, and then I'm gonna help you out, because you're not alone. As you're watching right now, as you're tuned in right now, just know you're not alone. Number one challenge is they don't know their signature selling style. They don't know how they want to sell. See, the reason they have a resistance to selling, I'll tell you about Mike. And Mike is a guy, Mike used to work for a number of companies, and he might be like many of you. Michael's biggest problem is that he was trying to sell like his coach. He was trying to sell like a book. He was trying to sell like YouTube videos. And he had never been taught his own signature selling style. Never in his whole life. Not until he met us, because we created signature selling styles. Now, your signature selling style is how you sell based on your DNA, how you sell based on your experience, and how you sell based on your expertise. Mm-hmm. So that's a big challenge, because I want you to imagine that you have a style. There's a buyer's profile. So maybe you don't know your signature selling style. I'll give you 2 or 3 of those styles here. We have a quiz. You can take the quiz. We'll tell you about that at the end. At least learn that, because the reason people have resistance to selling that I learned, Brandy, is they don't want to sound like someone else.
Right.
They don't want to sound
they don't want to be
unauthentic.
inauthentic, right? They don't want to be inauthentic to who they are. Like when you think of,
Absolutely.
and I think some people have really like some really deep seated beliefs in selling, right? They're thinking, well, I don't want to be that person that's just like a car salesman. And, I don't know about you, but I've had really incredible car salesmen that are like, they care about what you're looking for. They're
Sure.
helpful, right? They ask questions and those kind of things. The ones we're not wanting to be like are the car salesman that's trying to like make you buy whatever just to get a sell. So there's two different, beliefs.
There's two different folks. I agree
Yeah.
100%. And the reason that is that as folks are listening right now, you might be thinking, okay, you're right. I don't want to sound like an icky, arm twisted, manipulative salesperson. And in the United States, I know y'all all over the world, but in the United States, we have this culture that being a salesperson is the last thing that you can possibly do, when that's not true. It's the only industry that you have unlimited financial potential when you serve. I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna come back to that selling equals service. So if you're out there right now and you don't want to sell, you don't want to use a sales script. You're like, oh, that don't sound like me. In fact, jot this down in your notes. Scripts are for actors, and you're not an actor. Put that down in your notes. Scripts are for actors, and you're not an actor. That was Michael's problem. So I said, Michael, take the assessment and let me share at least a couple signature selling styles so you understand the words you're using. I'm gonna give that to you in a minute. Don't worry. So there's signature selling style. Let me give you the formula. Signature selling style. This is for those folks that got some leads in the house. Okay. Plus buyer's profile. Buyer's profile is how your buyers buy. There's 10 different buyer's profiles. And then plus neural linguistic sales. Neural linguistic sales is the study of language patterns and how it impacts the sales process. So let me break that thing down in 2 minutes. Your signature selling style is how you're selling, right? So you're like, okay, Shay, give me one or two. This might fit to you. You could be the intuitive signature selling style. This is why we created it, because it didn't exist. When I was coming up, they said, be like him, do this, buy a lead, follow up till they buy or die. And I'm like, that ain't me, Shorty.
You're like, this is not going to work for me.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Keep calling, keep talking. I said, look, I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation now, okay? I got my AARP card. I got the remix versions on everything. It ain't about that no more. They say, Shay, the money's in the list. The money's in the list. The money's in the list. No, let me get the remix version. The money's in other people's lists. All right. So you got to have a signature selling style that works for them. So maybe you're the intuitive signature selling style, and intuitive, they move people based on intuition, and you're already good. You don't need a script, but you just need to know what you're going to say, and you connect that way. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you're the rock star signature selling style. You think of Tony Robbins or Eric Thomas, and you sell based on, look at me. Folks follow you and they say, oh man, if you've done it, I'm gonna do it just like you. And there's nothing wrong being the rock star. You see those people every way. Look what I did. Flashy. Maybe you're the scientist signature selling style. You sell based on facts and data. You know you're talking to someone like that because they're going to break it down and they're going to prove almost word for word why what they're doing works. Or maybe you're like myself. I'm the heart-centered selling style, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you could be like my good friend, Samantha. Samantha is the professor's signature selling style. She didn't know that. So she was trying to sell like someone, she's in network marketing. That might be what some of you don't do. It doesn't matter what industry she's in, okay? But she was trying to sell like other people because that's what they said do. And come to find out that wasn't her. So she's the professor's signature selling style, which means she has to teach you. And once she teaches you and you understand it, she's more comfortable saying, here's the next step. Mine is the heart-centered selling style. You're going to speak from the heart. And I love connecting with Brandy because we're of the same cloth. Be yourself, be authentic, and let it go where it goes from there.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
So that's the next step, Brandon. When you talked about what should they do, learn this signature selling style, because people say that marketing drives the conversation. That was the old way. Okay. Let me give you the Shay Brown remix version. Told you I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation.
I love it.
Version. I got my AARP card. Sales drives the conversation of marketing. Marketing's job is to go out there and find the leads. But they can't find the leads until sales says, this is our signature selling style. This is the buyer's profile. And here's what we want to say. And they dress it up and they do really good work and they go find the folks. And if you're having a problem, they say, well, we don't have anybody with a need. Don't look for anybody with a need. That's the old way. That's the old way. Find someone with a need. Find them with a need. Look, you can need to lose weight and do absolutely nothing.
This
You can need
So
to save
true.
money and do absolutely nothing. Here's a Shea Brown advance. She told me to do a little advance on you, so I'm trying to take it to another notch. She said intermediate. This is for those folks out there that are ready to make 7 figures, that are ready to scale their business. We can help everybody else, but some of you, you're like, I'm ready for the next gear, Shay. It's about finding someone with an interest, want, or desire. If I want, I'm a runner. I run 5 marathons. I love running. If I see a t-shirt, I promise you my wife would tell you I don't need another freaking t-shirt. But if I have a desire for that t-shirt, I'm going online. I'm going to find that t-shirt. I'm paying $25 to get it shipped in 2 days. It is going to be here. And I promise you, I don't need another t-shirt. So what's my message to you? What do you walk away with? Number 1, learn your signature selling style. If nothing else, we'll tell you how to connect and get that. Number 2, understand that selling equals service. Selling is about education. And you can educate people that there's a, said it earlier and I'll say it again. You're in the problem solving business. And number 2, behind that, keep this in mind. I'll turn it over to you. And it's one of our 11 rules for life, but is that systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals every single time. So if there's a resource that you're not generating revenue, it's typically your sales system. I'm biased. I know y'all marketing folks say, but without sales, there is no revenue.
That's exactly
so
right.
Look at that.
Absolutely. I love that, Shay. So how do people find more about you, and how do they get this selling style that you talked about? Because this is an incredible resource, because they're going to become aware of what their selling style is. Because I'm a lot like Shay, right? I don't want to sell you anything. I want to serve you. And I'm going to give you an example. Yesterday, I ran to the store. My son says, "Hey, Mom, I need a Valentine's box by Friday. There's a contest we have to win," right? And I'm like, great. He's related to his mother. He has to win contest. Awesome. So I run to the store, and there's this little old man in the aisle, and he's looking confused. And I walk by and I just smile at him, right? Even through my mask, right? You can see my smile with my eyes. And he says, "Ma'am, could you help me?" And I said, "Absolutely. What do you need help with?" And he says, "I'm looking for the family style on the Lay's potato chips, and I can't seem to find it." Well, for those of you that are Lay's potato chip fans, they changed family size to party size, right? They changed the name, and he's being super specific because his wife has, made him this list, and he wanted to perform for his wife. Anyway, that was a service that I was able to provide. That's my selling style. Somebody asks me for help, I help them, and I make money. Now that gentleman obviously didn't, give me money, but I did receive payment, right? I received the fuzzy feeling that inside that makes me go, "Oh, I like serving people," right? So it was payment. It wasn't necessarily monetary, but it did serve my day. And I was like, "Hey, this is awesome. This is what I love doing." And so when you talk about selling styles, it's incredible to know what you're good at. And when you match your selling style to your authenticity, don't you think that's when people like totally go, skyrocket their business? Because all of a sudden everything's aligned. It's so incredible. And that's what Shay teaches. So how do they get a hold of
it makes it much easier to communicate with the marketing team. Some of you are sending emails out. Some of you are doing video. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. You get super clear on what what's authentic to you and what feels natural, instead of trying to be someone else. And you can.
That's the most important part. In about a minute, I see something. I just saw that's pretty good. That's the most important part, because if we were summing it up and you were saying, "Shay, just give me the formula," I would say P plus P plus P equals P. And in less than a minute, the first P is people will pay today if you help them solve a problem today. So it's problems, and you're in the problem solving business. The only reason you got in business to solve a problem. Problems plus the possibilities. And that's what Brandy's talking about over here. It's the possibility of what will take place and what's possible for them, plus your promise. The promise is the solution you're going to offer, equals people and profit. People buy clarity. People buy possibilities. Now, yeah, you got to show up, but without those two, you make your job much harder. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So how do they get more from you, Shay?
For those folks out there, I'm going to give you one website. Just go to salesteamguru.com. Let me give you one site, make it easy in the time we have. Just go to www.salesteamguru.com. Just follow the instructions. Just follow the instructions. And once you opt in, I'll make sure you get the quiz. I was going to give you a text number, but I was making it easy right now. If you're like me, easy. You want everything easy. Just go to salesteamguru.com. You can spell all those SALES team, and then guru.com. Once you get there, just follow the instructions, and then I'll make sure anyone that goes and registers, you get the quiz and you can take it. It takes about 5 minutes, and then there's an assessment that goes behind it. It's so cool. There's no cost, right? So there's no Cash App needed. All right. I don't know if Cash App may sit around. I don't know where you're going to see this. So you maybe Cash App not around anymore, but there's no Cash App. There's no Zelly. If you got a hold of this long lost video file because you're in Brandy's archives right now, go over to salesteamguru.com.
It'll still be there. I promise. Shay, I so appreciate you jumping in. I just love your energy, love what you've created, love, just everything that you stand for. And I'm excited to be able to share this out to people and help them get clear on what they're need to be doing to grow their team to 7 figures.
Well, thanks so much for having us. I want you to know what you're doing is amazing. Having this platform, providing guest experts, being able to collaborate. I started earlier that collaboration crushes competition, and is what you do. You have a heart to give. You have a heart to serve. So thank you, Brandy, for having me. I can't wait to connect and do some amazing things with you. And all of you out there watching, all of you listening to the podcast, make sure you share this message forward and continue to tune in. Brandon, I'm going to turn it back over to you. God bless.
Awesome. Thank you, Shay, so much. We'll have you on the show again next time too, because that would be a lot more fun to dive in deeper, right? Get more. So if you want more, let us know, right? Drop us a line and let us know you want more from Shay, and we'll get him on. So have a great rest of your day. If you got value, and there's going to be a link that you can get. We're going to use Shay's link. You could just get it wherever you're seeing this video. We'll pop it in there for you so that you could just click on that and head over and figure out your sales style. So